Okay, so when I got home last night, it was dark, but I noticed that the panel, the array, was tilted back facing east again and hadn't set flat. And I assumed that that meant that the controller had blown a fuse again, and I was seeing some kind of an issue with the linear actuators maybe overdrawing, wearing out. But coming out here this morning and looking at things, it is very clear that this is a much more significant failure than that. This is actually my first. I just looked at this out the window and noticed this morning, and this is the first time I've actually come out to really inspect what happened here. And as you can see, this is the part right here that's supposed to be attached up here, right? So you can see all these bolts appear to have snapped, and the whole array, just went one direction or the other. In this case, it just went, more of the weight is on the side, so it tipped east. As far as damage here, obviously this bar here was deformed considerably. Probably this bolt here was the last holdout to break, and you can see that when it broke, it also suffered some significant deformation, and this piece here is obviously significantly damaged. So it appears that the situation resulted from the bolts themselves. You can see all the bolts are still in the bar here. They all just snapped, and that was the failure point. So if I can get one of these things out of here. Yeah, so pretty clean break on that one. So they 3 bolts, obviously not strong enough. I don't know what kind of quality these are, but they're clearly not very high quality bolts. And it's very clear, given the experience I've had with this thing over the past, I don't know, it's been over a year now with it. It's just not a high quality device. It's not strong. It has not done well in the wind. And I assume, I don't know, I don't even think it was particularly windy here yesterday. I can go in and check the data from the weather station and see how much wind we had yesterday, but I don't remember it being significantly windy yesterday. So I'm not sure if it was just cumulative. Maybe those bolts had started to break. I don't know. I'm going to go look now, probably take you with me and show you what the wind was, just to see if there was a wind event that might be, that this damage might be attributed to. But it seems like where it mounted, this bar mounted, this part here seems okay. And it's just the bolts broke, and my little project to try and dampen the oscillation. This is what's left of that. But other than that, it looks like this part is all right. So it's just this bar here that I need to fix. And I'll probably use this bar. Maybe I'll just straighten this out and grind off all the paint and weld some plates on it to strengthen it, and then put it back together. But for now, this thing is going to sit as it is. If it gets windy, I'm just going to be relying on the guy wires to hopefully maintain the integrity of this mount. But yeah, not a great morning for the tracker this morning. So let's go inside, check the weather report from yesterday, see if there was any significant wind. Okay, so this is yesterday. This is the wind speed, the chart from the wind. This one right here is is wind, just about center of the screen here. You can see that the wind was strongest kind of early to mid-afternoon here. There was a little bit of wind a little bit later, a couple of peaks here, 5 o'clock and 6:30, kind of tapering off as the evening goes on. But there was no significant wind yesterday. The highest wind speed recorded seems to be 28 miles an hour, which is not super crazy for here. That's kind of high, but not anywhere near as high as we've seen. So nothing crazy in the chart. If there is a suspect here, it would be sort of the early afternoon would be when the wind was strongest. So maybe look at some of the photos from the cameras and see if I can find something from early afternoon that shows when the issue occurred, and see if I can correlate that to a wind event here. But let's take a look. All right, so this picture was taken looks like it was, that's military time, so 3:48. It actually looks like, if we look at this bar here, it looks like it might actually already be a little out of shape. This is not a high resolution image, so it's not going to be easy to tell, but it looks like maybe we've already got something going on here, because it doesn't look like that angle is right at this point right here at 5:48. So let's look a little later and see if we can see a difference. This is this is earlier, and we can see at 5:03 that angle looks pretty good. That actually looks fine. Let me zoom in here, and that seems like it looks just about a 90-degree angle to the array, which is what it's supposed to be. And this is the linear actuator here, so the force is applied this direction to the end here, and that would be pushing it this way, and that's what it ultimately snapped the bolts off. So at 5:03, it was totally fine. Let's see where we go from here. So this is earlier still. Let's go the other way. Still good. Okay, now we're at and this is 5:24. Let's see if I can zoom in and take a look here. It looks like, now if you look at this, that doesn't look, now it's difficult to tell because of the angle. Now it may be fine in this picture, but it looks to me like that's already started to kind of be out of shape a little bit. So that's 5:24 right there. So it looks like around 5:30 or a little after, between 5 and 5:30 is what we're looking at. And it seems to be aimed in the wrong direction. Now potentially it could have blown the fuse and gotten stuck facing east like this. It's possible, since I expected that it might blow a fuse. Maybe that did occur, and then left itself exposed to the wind, and that was what caused the problem. Now I don't know for sure, but I will go out as soon as I'm done with this and check that fuse, because I didn't check it while I was out there. So we'll check the fuse and see if indeed that is what occurred, because now that I see when it happened and that it was facing the wrong direction, I'm guessing that that's what happened. It blew the fuse, left itself exposed to the wind because it wasn't able to set itself flat, and then the wind broke it. So looks like between 5 and 5:30 it is when it actually got broken. But when did it blow the fuse is the question now. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look again at some of these pictures and see if I can figure out. So what happens is, when there's a wind gust, it will set itself flat. Now last time it blew a fuse, it was when it was setting itself flat. And that makes sense because that's when it has to drive the actuator the longest. So it looks like maybe that is what occurred. There was a wind event. It tried to set itself flat. It got all the way east. And when it went to try to set itself back flat by driving itself west again, it blew the fuse and got stuck facing east. And then a subsequent wind event broke it. So that's my guess at this point. I'm going to go out and check the fuse and see, but I'm also going to go back and look at some additional images here from the cameras and see if I can figure out when the fuse blew. All right, well, I was wrong. It happens. We can see that obviously we have power to the unit, so it did not blow its fuse. So I guess what must have happened is it was just in the process of setting itself flat when it caught some wind, because that's what happens. It sets itself all the way east and then waits for the timer to run out before it sets itself west. So that time where it was, because obviously it sets itself flat because it's windy, so it responded to a wind event. It was windy. It was moving in the wind because it had responded to a wind event, and it went all the way east and then tried to set itself back west far enough to set itself flat. And during that, possibly, it encountered a gust. And if we look at where the actuator is here, we can see that it is not set all the way west, or east rather. So it actually did move afterwards, or try to move afterwards. And, it looks like maybe it was even trying to track the sun afterwards. And, the other actuator might have been moving along fine. And then this one was just flapping in the breeze trying to move the array. So, whoa, don't hit the panel. So anyway, yeah, it didn't blow the fuse. Thought it might have blown the fuse, but didn't. So actually just happened to catch wind while it was trying to set flat, I guess. So mystery solved, apparently. Either way, going to have to do something about it this week. Probably just manually put it flat and then secure it somehow, either tie it or maybe put some bolts back in with the linear actuator set flat. So in the meantime, I'm going to actually disconnect power so that during the day-to-day, it's not going to be trying to move when there's no way it can move. So anyway, that's the deal with the tracker right now. We've got a fairly major failure, and I'll repair it, and I'll make another video when I do.